Hi, everybody. Welcome to the press. Welcome to this relatively short episode where today we're going to talk about the Dubai Invitational on the DP World Tour. It's the other event on the docket this week. We've got the Sony Open in Hawaii, and you'll get the fully comprehensive episode in your feeds shortly after this one, but wanted to get this one to you first since it's a little easier to do. And frankly, it just takes less time to talk about this. This will probably be a 5 to 7 minute discussion. I don't have a lot of action on this week's event, the Dubai Invitational. This is a $2.75 million purse event, has a 60-player professional field. There's also a 60-player amateur field. This event is intended to be played every other year on the DP World Tour schedule. Basically a placeholder for the years where there's not the Team Cup concept, which is supposed to be kind of the early season, knock off the cobwebs thing, where you have a team-based competition, GB&I type thing versus continental Europe to get ready for a Ryder Cup year. So we don't have a Ryder Cup year this year. We've got this instead. This is played at the Dubai Creek Resort in the United Arab Emirates. It's the second time it was played here. The first time around, Tommy Fleetwood won this tournament. And then you had Rory McIlroy finish in second. So relatively close back then. I think they had 65 players the first year. The first time around, they've knocked it down to 60 for this time, and I believe the amateur component is totally new to it. Those things don't overlap. They don't get involved with one another. They're playing in twosomes. They're 30 twosomes starting at 8:30 on Thursday morning local time. So those things aren't in the way of one another. It's not like it's a pro-am tournament, for example. So if you kind of look past Fleetwood and McIlroy, your other highlight guys in this field from the top 50 in the official World Golf Ranking perspective are Shane Lowry and Patrick Reed, who's still in the top 50 in the world because of good Masters performance last year. Then you could also look toward the leaderboard the last time we played this event. The other guy that finished tied for second with Rory McIlroy was Thriston Lawrence, who they both finished a shot out of a playoff. Thriston Lawrence is back here, 40-1. He had himself a pretty decent off season of the PGA Tour, wound up winning on the DP World Tour, very emotional win in Switzerland. He is a very emotional player, but he also is super streaky, and I tend to like him at places he likes. He's 40-1. I think that's an interesting number, especially if you consider that Rory McIlroy's 3.5-1, and I've seen him in places at 3-1. Fleetwood is just shy of 5-1. I've seen him in between 4-1 and 5-1, depending on where you look. I think most people are going to gravitate toward chalk and think about that, and you probably don't have to overthink it. If you want to bet this, just get tickets on guys you think are going to win. This is not your fun DP World Tour bonanza where you can go try to find a rando who's going to win. This is one of those weeks where you expect the best players to win. So I wouldn't mind if you took McIlroy and Fleetwood, or if you were going to make plays in this tournament, do winner without markets. You're going to find them certainly without McIlroy, most likely without McIlroy and Fleetwood. You might even, I would not recommend doing this, but if you found without Fleetwood, McIlroy, and Lowry, then you could go that path and try to pick off a couple of other guys. I think the concern there is you're not going to get as much value, right? You're not going to get a good value. You're going to get a crummy value in this tournament. It's just the way that it works. Jaden Shaper is 16-1. You might be wondering who Jaden Shaper is if you are not a DP World Tour watcher like I am. And he won the last two tournaments that he played in last year on the DP World Tour, won them in dramatic playoff finishes, one in South Africa and then Mauritius, to deny Ryan Gerard a victory in his 10,000-mile journey to try to qualify for the Masters. He still did, but Shaper won the tournament. So 16-1 for him. I would not expect that hot streak to suddenly continue. It could, but I doubt it. You got Nikolai Højgaard at 16-1. You got Torbjorn Olesen at 20-1. He was tied for 8th here last time around. I think he's an interesting play at 20-1 along with Shane Lowry. David Puig is 20-1 with Angel Iora and Rasmus Nørgaard Peterson. Of those, I would play Nørgaard Peterson at 20-1. if you're not going to play Olesen or Lowry. Lowry's at least had a little bit of time to knock off some rust playing TGL. Again, what does that actually mean? I don't know. Some other guys in the field I think are at least kind of interesting. You've got Tom McKibben at 22-1. Matt Wallace is 30-1. Daniel Hillier is 35-1. He feels like a guy who's going to be the next Marco Penge to me. I don't know if he can win this week, but if you did in a winner without market, I'd be interested in him. Ryan Fox is 40-1. Again, a solid top 50 player in the world. Had a great year last year with a couple of wins on the PGA Tour. This is really him getting in a start on the DP World Tour. So I think you can go with him this week, but I think you should probably stick toward the top of the table a little bit. You've got Eugenio Chikara at 55-1, who I think seems to like desert golf. I think he seems to like that style. So 55-1. He also had a good start his last go round in South Africa to end the year. So maybe some good vibes there. Again, super streaky player, but he had an opportunity. His goal last year was just to get DP World Tour membership and then maybe parlay that somehow into a PGA Tour card. Came short on that front. His mission this year is clear. Get out of the DP World Tour. Get on the PGA Tour. He has the game to do it. He just doesn't have the consistency yet to do that. But I think he can play well pretty much anywhere at any time. Other guys in the field, I don't think are particularly worth looking at. To be honest with you, I think you're going to struggle to justify betting other people. Maybe Jacob Skov Olesen, who's interesting. Grant Forrest is interesting. They're both 100-1. You get some kind of random names in this field. Matteo Manacero is back on the DP World Tour, did not have a good year on the PGA Tour. You got someone like Patrick Harrington, who's 350-1. Pablo Larrazabal is also 350-1. I thought about throwing Larrazabal out there because he does seem to like desert golf a lot, and a lot of his wins on the DP World Tour come in the Middle East. However, his form is not good, and it wasn't good at the end of the year. Maybe a reset helps. If you want to go throw out a rando for a first-round leader play, Larrazabal is probably your guy here at 350-1. You're going to get a sliver of that, not quite that, for a first-round leader play, but that I think could be an interesting number. It's just a super long shot pizza bet that maybe you pick up while you're sleeping if you're here in the United States, and that all happens. There are a bunch, as I mentioned, there are a number of live guys in this field. Puig, McKibben, Patrick Reed. They're all in decent position on the table. Chikar is a former live guy, but Puig at 20-1. He is a very good player, and I think he will eventually come into his own. But I feel like he's also stymied by live. He's only playing so many good players at a time, and yet still, I think he could be a threat. I just don't think he's gonna. I haven't seen him play much desert golf to think that he's gonna like this. McKibben at 22-1. Again, he kind of just becomes an anonymous guy on live because no one cares. But I don't think I would go for him. Reed does seem to like Dubai as well. He's played well in Dubai. This is, again, not Emirates Golf Club, home of the Dubai Desert Classic. This is different. But Reed does have an affinity for here. If you do have a belief that place matters, he may be worth a play. But I think I would stay pretty tight here. Go with your two favorites. Throw in maybe Ryan Fox or Tristan Lawrence. That's up to you. And then go super deep, just on a first-round leader play on Larrazabal and see what happens. Everything else I would pretty much leave alone. And I don't have a whole lot of affinity for this because we only see this tournament every 2 years. There's only 60 players in the field. The best players in the field are by far the best players in the field. It's not like it's tight-knit. Like you'll kind of see a little bit more at the Sony Open with 120 players and not having the world 2 and 3 right there who are clearly in that A- tier that's better than the B tier, the B+ tier, but obviously still short of the A+ tier of Scottie Scheffler. So I think that's most likely the outcome. Again, bet accordingly or don't, or you can totally pass on this, but I wanted to at least get some thoughts out there for you if you do like betting DP World Tour. Make sure you shop around, of course. Go look for your best prices available, especially when you're thinking about those favorites. Don't just lock into your favorite sports book. Those differences between plus 310 and plus 350 and plus 380. Those matter over time. You may not think it matters in the moment, but it does matter over time, especially if you're betting higher amounts. And if you're betting just a few bucks, then maybe it doesn't matter quite as much to you. But if you're betting $20, $30, $50, $100 per player or more, then certainly go shop around and make sure you're getting the right number if you're going to play these short shots like I'm recommending. All right, that's going to do it for this very short episode of The Press. Get a hold of me, Ryan, at thegolfnewsnet.com. You can find me there. You can join Golf Newsnet for $40 a year, $70 for 2 years, or $100 for 3 years over at golfnewsnet.com. Get access to all of our tools and reporting and weekly articles that are just for our members. We'll be back a little bit later on with our episode that's on video and audio, going in depth on the Sony Open in Hawaii. We'll go over the model, horses for courses, all kinds of good stuff there as well. So we'll see you over there in the other episode. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next time right here on The Press.